All right, we are live. This is Biblical DNA. Today's topic is going to be DNA of the Aegean Philistines, also known as the Peliset, Minoans, and Mycenaeans. Genesis chapter 10, verses 13 through 14. And Mizraim hath begotten the Ludim, and the Anamim, and the Lehabim, and the Nephatim, and the Pathrosim, and the Casluim, whence had come out Philistine, and the Caphatim, Captor, Strong's Concordance, Captarim from Captar, a Captarite, or native of Captar, Captarim. This is also known as Crete. As you can see on this map, we have Crete. This is where the Captarim were located. So all these people were descendants of Mitzrayim, and part of the Philistines. In the article Genetic Origins of the Minoans and the Mycenaeans, the Eastern influence in the Bronze Age populations from Greece and southwestern Anatolia is also supported by an analysis of their Y chromosomes. 4 out of 5 males belong to Minoans, Mycenaeans, and southwestern Anatolians belong to haplogroup J, which was rare or non-existent in earlier populations from Greece and western Anatolia, who were dominated by Y chromosome haplogroup G2. Haplogroup J was present in Caucasus hunter-gatherers and a Mesolithic individual from Iran, and its spread westwards may have accompanied the Eastern genome-wide influence. Depiction of the Minoans. It looks like a Minoan woman. You see 2 Minoan women. Ancient DNA analysis reveals Minoan and Mycenaean origins. According to the University of Washington Health Sciences, an analysis of ancient DNA has revealed that ancient Minoans and Mycenaeans were genetically similar, with both peoples descending from early Neolithic farmers. This is a Lazarus quote. Minoans, Mycenaeans, and modern Greeks also had some ancestry related to the ancient people of the Caucasus, Armenia, and Iran. This finding suggests that some migration occurred in the Aegean and southwestern Anatolia from further east after the time of the earliest farmers. At this time, I'm going to be showing the DNA of the Mycenaeans and the Minoans. As we see, they didn't belong to one haplogroup. We have J or G2A. We have also J2A. This is their Y chromosome. This is the maternal DNA. We also have a R1B as Mycenaean elite. We also see they carried the maternal haplogroups, a variety from U5A1, H5, J2B1A1, I5, K1A2, T2, T3, HV, R0, X. You can see they carried a variety of different maternal haplogroups. H13A1A, W. See also some X2s again. Let's go back to the compounds. Ancient DNA sheds light on the genetic origins of early Iron Age Philistines. The ancient Mediterranean port city of Ashkelon, identified as Philistine during the Iron Age, underwent a marked cultural change between the late Bronze and the early Iron Age. It has been long debated whether this change was driven by substantial movement of people, possibly linked to a larger migration of the so-called Sea Peoples. Here we report genome-wide data of 10 Bronze and Iron Age individuals from Ashkelon. We find that the early Iron Age population was genetically distinct due to a European-related admixture. This genetic signal is no longer detectable in the later Iron Age population. Our results support that a migration event occurred during the Bronze to Iron Age transition in Ashkelon, but did not leave a long-lasting genetic signature. Know Thine Enemy: DNA Study Solves Ancient Riddle of Origins of the Philistines by Amanda Borchell Dan. Through analysis of 10 ancient individuals' DNA, the study suggests that Philistines reached Ashkelon from Europe by the early Iron Age. After 2 centuries, however, the European genetic markers were dwarfed by the Levantine gene pool, suggesting intensive intermarriage. The Philistine culture and the peoplehood remained distinct from other local communities for 6 centuries. And also got the Peliset and how they're part of the Philistines. You can find this in Ann Killebrew, Biblical Peoples and Ethnicity, an archaeological study of Egyptians, Canaanites, Philistines, and early Israel, 1300 through 1100 BCE. A third migration of Sea peoples from western Anatolia and set off a chain reaction resulting in hordes of Sea peoples migrating in an unsuccessful attempt to invade Egypt, followed by the settlement of the Peliset along the southern coast of Canaan. And what it's talking about is the Dorians and the Illyrians started pushing these people out, these Pelisets out, or what we know as the Philistines. And these Dorians also were part of the Sea People group, which most people would know them as the Dinyan or the Danube. All right, these are the Philistines from Ashkelon DNA results. As we see, they have a Y chromosome marker of J, R1, and this is post Ramses III. So this is after the big battle of, I believe it's Daja. One second. Battle of Dajah. That's Djahy. We see the maternal haplogroups T2C1C, H92, I1, T1A1. All right. You can also bring up Chrome. Go ahead and bring up this. We also see him right here that J was a J1A or J-L862. All right. And the other one, RM269. These are the Philistines or the Peliset that the Egyptian they depicted with their war between Ramses III, the Battle of Bijai. These are the same Peliset or Philistines. Found a quote from Simcha Djokovic, the last of the Minoans. The evidence keeps mounting, and it throws new light on the book of Exodus. For example, when the Bible says that a mixed multitude, Exodus 12, verse 38, followed Moses out of Egypt into the desert and eventually into Canaan, we now realize, based on the new findings, that some of this multitude must have been Aegean, specifically Minoans. And he also, if you have a chance, you can look up Tel Dan. He does a great explanation of why the artifacts in Tel Dan are an Aegean in customs. And he's going to explain how the tribe of Dan are actually originally from Greece or the Aegean Sea, and that these so-called tribe of Dan or these Danites were actually the Danu or the Danian. So that's all I got for y'all. I can show some of the resources that I have. This is the ancient DNA sheds light on the genetic origins of the early Iron Age Philistines. This is the Greek Age of Bronze. As we can see, they have depictions of the Sea Peoples being a captive in Egypt. We see the Peliset right there with that crown that with the like looks like hair sticking up. And go ahead to the top so I can give you this article. It's the Greek Age of Bronze Sea Peoples. We also have this article, which I want to touch briefly on. Let's go to the top so I can give it this one to y'all, this article. Genetics and the Archaeology of Ancient Israel. Now, I want to point out something interesting in this article. Apart from the J2A patterns listed above, previous studies show an Aegean focus for two non-JY lineages, EV13 and GM527/L13. EV13 has been shown to have originated most probably in the Balkans circa 9000 BCE as the Mesolithic marker, while G-M527/L13 arose somewhat later during the late Neolithic era in coastal western Anatolia. Both lineages track Greek colonization events from present-day Marcellus in Provence, Greek colony of Masala, to Greek colonies in Ukraine and Crimea. We also find EV13 and G-M527 amongst contemporary Palestinians and Druze from Israel. This result suggests that EV13 and G-M527 may track the immigration of Aegean colonists to the southern Levant. All right. Thus, DNA markers of contemporary populations offer us hints with which we may possess hypothesis about a ancient Levantine DNA. Immigration from the Arabian Peninsula during the late Bronze Age and/or early Iron Age might be expected to contribute J1E markers to Israelite populations. Settlements of the Aegean-derived Sea peoples may amplify the frequency of Aegean-specific markers EV13 and GM527 among Philistine skeletal material, while the persistence of J2A in coastal Levantine Canaanite populations should be discoverable in ancient DNA samples from the southern Levant. Right. So, now a full sequence dating of EV13 and GM527, both from Aegean source populations and Levantine target populations, will be more reliable, estimable than conventional dating of YSTRs. So now the thing is with EV13 and founding amongst the Philistines, this isn't true. They have not found EV13 amongst the Philistines. So, and if it is true, why don't they just show that evidence? That's my big thing about that. From what I've seen, that there's no evidence whatsoever that, EV13 was found amongst the Philistines. These are the markers on the screen right now that were found amongst the Philistines. While the Minoans carried J2A and G2, as you saw on the haplotree. Let's go up here. We see that the Minoans carried G2A and J2A haplogroups. Also the Mycenaeans. So not really sure where exactly they found that the Philistines were carrying EV13, but I just thought that would be important to show because not only is that my haplogroup, but I think if they actually did more excavations in Israel, especially Tel Dan, if they show the Y chromosomes, I think Tel Dan would show some EV13 markers. Now, there's no DNA results from that time period, according to my knowledge, that they've excavated and shown that skeleton remains in Tel Dan during the late Bronze Age were EV13 or J2 or J1. So it's still wait to find out exactly which haplogroups were found in Tel Dan. I don't know if they're actually going to show any DNA during that time period, but if they do, I really believe that they're going to find some EV13s, and I think it's going to be correlated with the Danu, the tribe of the so-called tribe of Dan, which we know as the tribe of Dan, according to the Bible. And it just once people figured this out, they're going to realize that it's not what it seems to be. What the Bible seems to say what the tribes of Israel were. And I actually came to this conclusion before um, the Israeli Haaretz posted this article, Tribe of Dan, Sons of Israel or of Greek mercenaries hired by Egypt. So I actually came to this conclusion before they came to this conclusion. So it's quite interesting if you take the time to read all of this.
Tribe of Dan, sons of Israel, or Greek mercenaries hired by Egypt. Samson the Greek. 3,000-year-old archaeological finds at Tel Dan suggest that the Danites were Aegean soldiers hired by Canaan's Egyptian overlords to keep order. The tribe of Dan, one of the 12 Israelite tribes, may have started as no such thing. New archaeological evidence suggests that the Danites originated with mercenaries hired from the Aegean and Syria by the Egyptian overlords of Canaan to keep order. According to the Bible, after the Israelites conquered Canaan, the land was split between the tribes, with the exception of the tribe of Dan. Bitter at their lot, the tribe went northward, conquered and destroyed the city of Laish, also called Lashem, then rebuilt it and renamed it after their ancestor, Judges 18:1-29. And the coast of the children of Dan went out too little for them. Therefore the children of Dan went up to fight against Lashem, and took it, and smote it with and dwelt therein, and called Lashem Dan, after the name of Dan their father, Joshua 19:47. Tell Elkanah.
All right, I'm gonna actually do a video on the tribe of Dan, so I'll keep that separated. It's kind of like a little sneak peek or a little teaser, but I will play. Let me see if I still got it open. I think it's this video. I'm gonna play this one. This is Know Thine Enemy. DNA study solves ancient riddle of origins of the Philistines. So I'm gonna play this video for y'all.
We're sitting next to one of the big 5 cities of the Philistines, the city of Ashkelon. We know from ancient texts that this was a huge city of the Philistines. There have been many people who found burials here and there, but they've never really known whether they had a Philistine cemetery. All mining right next to the city, we know we've uncovered the first Philistine cemetery ever discovered. This cemetery is going to teach us a whole lot about the Philistines that we didn't know before. We've learned about their houses, and we've learned about what they ate, and we've learned about who they traded with. But now we're seeing the people themselves.
We found beads before scattered in the street, or a lost earring here or there. But here we can see them being worn. We can see them on the body. We can see the beads in the order that they were strung originally on the bracelet.
So when we actually find something in the ground, it's really exciting, and everyone, you get everyone to come over and figure out what exactly it is.
Frequently, when people talk about the Philistines, they use the term Philistine to describe someone who doesn't love art or doesn't love music or is uncultured. And what we're finding already is that this group of people was trading widely across the Mediterranean. They were up to date with the latest fashions. And we find buried next to many of these individuals small little perfumes imported from far.
Always looking for patterns. Are we seeing men with their hands in one position and women with their hands in another position?
We're seeing people who had broken legs that had healed. We're seeing people who, as they went through life and they ate the sandy food around here, ended up with horrible tooth pain. And we're going to be able to understand the pain that they went through in their lives as well. And so everything from their joys to their pain we'll be able to see in their bones. And this is going to be a great leap forward in our understanding of this group, the Philistines.
Over the years, we have noticed that Ashkelon is occupied after one culture after another for about 5,000 years.
Every year, we have a remarkable group of students and volunteers who come from all over the world in order to work with us here at Ashkelon. So as students come here, they find complex, rich, interesting archaeology. And this draws students back year after year from around the world who know that this is a place where they can be well trained in archaeology and where they can find fascinating things.
Impossible to imagine working with bodies that are over 2,000 years old. And these are people who have lived and who had lives and who had families. And we get to sort of now learn from them and look at a moment of history that hasn't ever been seen before. And it's absolutely incredible.
It's definitely changing history in a big way. And when we have all the analysis done of everything that's in there, it will change it so much we won't recognize what has been claimed to be a Philistine burial custom.
This is really the final step, the final great find of a very long excavation. And in many ways, it's the culmination of 30 years of work trying to find the Philistines.
All right. Pretty good video. You can find that on Unearthing a Philistine Cemetery and ancient Ashkelon, and it's by Harvard University. Subscribe to that. All right, well, I think that's about it as far as this video is concerned. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you're new to this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions, please don't hesitate and let me know in the comment section. You can also find my email and my about me, and just hit me up. So yeah, thanks for watching.